Hello everybody and welcome to 10 Minutes With. We are here in the countryside today. The car is parked, we're not driving, hence the lack of seatbelts. We're going to talk today about what if we could do a one-off race at a European track. Now we're keeping it European to try and keep it semi-realistic. Where could we go for that one semi-realistic meeting for a one-off round of the touring cars? Sam, where would you pick?
Well, just first of all, this comes off the back of an article that I've seen, but I can't seem to find anywhere, of this guy that's gone and listed 10 different tracks across Europe, and I think a couple across different sort of like Asian countries as well, of tracks that could be used for this one-off big international or European race at the end of the season that doesn't necessarily mean anything towards the championship, just one for a bit of fun and a big sponsorship boost, of course. For me, though, keeping it realistic, as we've already said, I'd probably look to somewhere just over the border into Europe, and looking
Scotland.
We're already going there later this year, and looking at Zolder in Belgium. It's a track which is well known for its GT racing. It's a fairly short track, one that provides a good amount of action. There's a good range of corners there, some fast, some tight chicanes. And I think that the touring cars would be an excellent fit for that type of track as well. And being just over the border, I don't think it would be too much financially to get sorted. And I also think the logistics of it should be fairly straightforward.
I'm surprised. That was not what I was expecting you to say.
What were you expecting me to say?
Well, I won't say it in case we
Okay.
come for a second round, because we might have time to come back for a second track. I have got no imagination whatsoever, so I've basically looked at the F1 calendar and looked at what circuits there would be quite cool to go to. I ruled out Monza because it's basically two straights with two chicanes, which I don't think for touring car racing would be any good.
No.
It's basically an Italian Brands Hatch.
Yep.
So I've ruled out Monza. And I've also temporarily forgotten what I said at your house earlier before we came out.
What, the track you're actually going for?
Yes.
Hockenheim.
That's the one, thank you very much. I'll go for Hockenheim in Germany because it's got a really good DTM history, it's got a good F1 history, it's a really nice track with good mixture. There is a really long straight, I can't think of any way around that. Every European F1 track's going to have one.
I have a solution for that. There is a shortened
version, isn't there?
Hockenheim circuit,
Yeah, so you could do
which
that.
takes out that big long curving straight down to the hairpin, although would provide good overtaking opportunities.
Well,
I
with the
think.
hybrid system on that straight, you know. But to be fair, look, Snetterton has got a straight that's a long straight. You know, it's not particularly something that's common in the touring cars just because of the way the UK circuits are. But let's see what they can do on a straight. Let's actually see how fast can they get down these straights. I don't think having one. I think the problem is you go to a track which has got several. That becomes a problem.
Yes.
Hockenheim's only really got one.
Yeah.
I think that would be fine. So I'm going to go for Hockenheim. Plus, it's set up perfectly from a spectator point of view because of its
loads
history.
of stands.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to get more manufacturers in the touring cars, which we do, it could be a way of getting Mercedes back in if we were to have this.
Yeah.
Even if they only race for that one event, to have a Mercedes works team in the touring cars, for even if that only weekend, it might open doors to getting a couple more German brands, particularly Mercedes, into the touring cars.
Interesting point that you raised there of bringing in different brands just for that race.
Yeah.
What about the possibility of taking the British touring car grid to something mad like going and joining the Nürburgring for as part of the support package for maybe the Nürburgring 24 hours?
I think that would be a great idea. However, I don't think that politically the touring cars would ever accept itself to be a support series. But
Okay.
I think that'd be a perfect idea. I think I don't see why the touring cars can't be supporting an F1 race once a year.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to mean anything in the championship, but just you're going
Could you imagine if they supported the F1 race at Silverstone?
Well, how cool would that be?
Race the full circuit.
You don't even have to then take them abroad.
No.
You know, which has meant we've gone on a massive tangent as always too, because we're looking at European tracks.
We have.
So I would say if I was having a dream track and there was the transport and the location was no issue, I would like to see him go to Albert Park in Melbourne, a bit of a street racy style.
Yeah.
Or I've really got a big soft spot for Shanghai in China. I know you hate it, but it's a really good.
One of the big reasons that you've mentioned, it's got like a mile and a half long back straight.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying if it was not if we're doing dream rather than ideal,
yes,
I'd look at Shanghai. I think it's got everything, that circuit. It's got really tight twisty corners. It's got undulating parts. It's got fast sections, but yeah, you're right. The straight would make it impossible.
What I would love to see, which you've also kind of mentioned, is them going to a street circuit.
Yeah.
Doing some kind of street circuit. I think it was back in maybe the 90s, maybe even early 80s, when they used to race on the street circuit in Birmingham.
Did they?
Yeah, it was absolutely mental.
Wow.
If you haven't seen any clips of it, go and search on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it was Birmingham that they used to have a street race in.
Well, the way Formula E's gone, and the fact that all Formula E races are effectively street races, there's no reason the touring cars couldn't find a way to do a street race.
Yeah, and I mean, you've mentioned Formula E there. They go to a closed airfield in Berlin called Tempelhof, and they make their own circuit, effectively. It's a big, open, wide space. They can make whatever circuit layout they want. You could have a place like that and design whatever circuit you like. You can have it change each year, but still be in the same location. That would be, like, completely ideal in my mind.
Yeah.
And probably something that isn't necessarily achievable, but that, in my mind, would be a brilliant idea.
We've still got some time left. You can either give me a second option for a European track or a dream. There is no issue, no barrier to it. What would you like to give me?
Wow, the moon?
Genius.
I don't... as you say, I don't think it would ever be a support series. But if they were to support F1, being the biggest racing brand on the planet, I think somewhere like Monaco would be completely and utterly bonkers.
Yeah, I'd like Monaco.
But
like
it
Monaco.
would
It's
be
never
fun
gonna
to
happen.
watch.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Yeah, they're too wide to go to Monaco.
But I wonder how much coverage or how much of a boosting coverage they might get if they go to somewhere like America.
Yeah, but do American do tin top? It's not NASCAR. Is
I
it?
know it's not NASCAR, but is it going to bring in maybe more American brands?
To be fair, everyone's had my reaction when F1 tried to break America, and it's worked in a big way. So who knows?
Yeah.
Because everyone wrote off F1. It's not IndyCar, it's not NASCAR, but it's actually worked quite well. So
we'll go off in a tangent if I talk too much about that. I don't like the whole event that goes with an American race in F1.
Nor do I.
And I don't think that would suit the touring cars at all.
You don't think bringing out Will Pout?
Oh dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jack Boutel, the man from Jersey. He's wearing a cardigan. It's Jack Boutel.
Yeah, no, that's never going to work in the touring cars, I don't think.
No, you're right.
I do think that they need to look to expanding and trying to grow the brand, because I think they could very well get stuck in a rut if we don't look to bring in more circuits, more variety. I know it is the British touring cars, but there are still other circuits in Britain as well.
Mondello Park.
That being one of them. And we've also got places like Anglesey, Pembrey, Castle Combe. There are so many different tracks that we could...
Castle Combe is technically in England, though. England is quite well represented. But no, I take your point. There's plenty of other options in the UK. I take your point on that. I think if I was to offer any other solution or track, it would be Imola, just because the heritage. Imola is a driver's circuit. You know, it's just steeped in history, tradition, any of those words you want to use. Yeah. It is a proper circuit in that way, and I think Imola would be quite cool to have the touring cars go around.
Yeah, it would. We'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas, and any tracks that you'd love to go back to, love to visit for the first time. Maybe you're listening from outside the UK and you think your local track would be the best option for the British touring cars to go down and race at. Completely up to you, but we'd love to hear your thoughts and have some sort of discussion on it in the comments below. Please do drop and leave us a like, and don't forget to subscribe and get the bell on, because we will have more of these coming out, and hopefully they'll give you a little bit of entertainment during the day.
Absolutely. And if there are, what are your thoughts on the touring cars potentially supporting a one-off F1 race? Where would you choose? Do you think it could ever happen? We'd like to hear from you. Bye.